Well, let's talk about WrestleMania because you guys were actually at the show at WrestleMania for
We
the
were.
best night. I think night two, I think was a better night. But were you there for the whole WrestleMania or just for night two only, where you got
Yeah, we
to
were
get
there
in?
for yeah, we had the weekend. We did well, we arrived on the Thursday. Arrived in Vegas on the Thursday. We did SmackDown on the Friday. We
Oh
did
yeah,
Stand and Deliver Saturday morning, and then obviously both nights of Mania, and then made a last minute on a whim decision to go to Raw on the Monday night as
oh
well.
yeah, good choice.
Then
Yeah.
left on Tuesday. So
So
we
we
got
did
like yeah,
every show we could have
we got the
done.
full WrestleMania weekend. It was
Yeah,
so good. So good.
yeah, no, absolutely. Las Vegas comes out and shows up, and obviously the whole world comes out to Las Vegas as well for the night, and what a great event it was on WrestleMania. But I mean, night two was better than night one, I think. You had, of
Yeah.
course, the Paul Heyman turning with Seth Rollins on night one. I mean, that was probably the most talking point of that show. But then, of course, night two, you had, of course, as you mentioned a moment ago, Joe Hendry showing up from TNA with the Raw bout. You also had, well, yeah, Steve Austin come out and ram his, whatever he calls it, quad bag, whatever it is, into a person at ringside.
Funniest part of
Uh,
that, the funniest part of Stone Cold coming out was that we were sat in the perfect position where we could see him trying to come out initially, where either side of the ramp, you had
yeah,
so the ramp, let's say you're the ring, right? You got the
yeah,
ramp going down to you, and then either side at the top of the ramp, you had two little ramps going like that for when, for example, when Cody had the bikers going over the thing, and when LA Knight came up in his car.
yeah.
Stone Cold had the simplest of tasks to really slowly drive out his quad bike and then just go up that ramp and then go down the ramp. He missed those first ramps. So he was just stuck in the corner for like 10 seconds and everyone was just like, where is he? And me and Cal were looking at him in this corner, stuck in the corner with like 10 dudes, all
Yeah.
using their like full body weight to try and drag him out this corner.
Like music had hit and it's just stuck.
Well, I think they posted a video of him rehearsing it. I think either before the event or after the event, they released video of him rehearsing the whole thing, and he was having issues then as well. So I thought they might have scrapped the whole plan, but no, they'll let him loose and let him come out. But I think they regret it after he hit the person in the front row
Oh,
with
I
us.
think
So
so. I bet their defense lawyers are having a right time at the minute.
yeah, yeah.
So the podcast is great, but it's like bless his heart. It's when people are just like one more match, and I'm just like, he doesn't need one more match, guys.
Oh, he did have one 3 years ago against
Yeah,
Kevin
that was
Owens.
yeah, that was a good match, but yeah, I mean, a lot can change in 3 years.
True, true, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, he's doing a lot of desert driving nowadays, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
So, he's enjoying himself in Reno, not
yeah.
too far from Las Vegas. But then, of course, you had, of course, John Cena against Cody Rhodes, where we all knew John Cena was going to win. If you
Mhm.
didn't, then you are not, a true wrestling fan. But were you happy with that result?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was happy with the result, not too happy with the execution.
yeah.
Okay, well, tell me more.
It was the whole Travis Scott thing. It was the ridiculously slow walk down, and then and I don't think it needed Travis Scott. I think if it needed anything, it would have been Travis Scott and then The Rock and answering that whole why was this whole soul selling thing there in the first place. Um, but I think you needed both of them or neither of them.
Okay.
I think you could have just done it as Cena doing what he said he was going to do, beating Cody, cheating to win still to make the point. Um, but yeah, I wasn't massive on the Travis Scott thing.
Just like it's also taking into account like the long-term side of it from like Cody versus Roman 1 to Cody versus Roman 2, and just like this whole like incredibly important for WWE storyline building. This was especially with Cena coming back and this being Cena's last WrestleMania, being the 17th world title, like how massive this is, the way they executed it. Everyone in the stadium was just looking at each other like, what? And like you saw the Paul Levesque credits start rolling, and everyone was like, nah, surely not. That's a joke. No, 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 no. And then
It,
that was the end of the show, and we were all just like, what? we just
That was
we
it.
felt like there was potential for it to be so much. I know it's difficult, like nothing's ever going to compete with Night 2 of XL last year, but like it just had so much potential to be executed really well, like Cal said, and also be so much bigger than it was. And I just didn't think Travis Scott was the guy to do that. And obviously now we realize, I'm not saying we were right, but like he wasn't.
Well, it wasn't because I guess the person who should have been out, The Rock, obviously was not going to be at the show because he was stuck in doing a movie elsewhere. But he did reveal on the Pat McAfee show that the whole soul thing was that they needed to sell tickets for Elimination Chamber. So he came up with the whole idea to be a one-off thing. Wasn't going to lead to anything, and if we found out WrestleMania, that is that like what happened?
I know.
No.
It's one thing him like saying on the Pat McAfee show, someone who is very heavily involved in WWE as well. It's one thing him saying like, "Oh yeah, we did this whole thing just on a complete whim."
Yeah.
It's another thing him then not allowing WWE to take what he's done on a whim and actually create a long storyline out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he's a busy guy, but like, come on, like you're one of the directors of the board TKO. Sacrifices need to be made somewhere, bro.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
frustrating as well because it's like if you needed to push tickets for Elimination Chamber and you make an appearance and that's going to do that, fine. But the Cena heel turn doesn't need to then revolve around you because they made the turn. They made the Rock so central in the turn. So then John Cena's first promo as a heel, everyone was like, "All right, but why have you sold your soul to the Rock?" And he's done this whole storyline about how like mad he is at the fans, and now he's given everything for 25 years, and now he's going to be selfish. It's like that wasn't believable for the first like 3 or 4 weeks. Everyone was like, "But what about the soul thing?"
Yeah.
And then
There's been no mention.
promo too.
Yeah.
Said you sold your soul to the Rock, and then there was no payoff for
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
Honestly,
No mention of it either of The Rock in any of these comments by John Cena on any episode since then either, has there?
no, no.
honestly, I think The Rock is so. I will happily take the hit for say it again. I don't like The Rock. I speak on behalf of myself, not Callum, and not everyone on this live stream. I think he is a knob, and I think like. Anyway, sorry, don't get me started. I was going to make a point, but I won't bother because I'll go for ages.
The pep.
Well, we've reached the mark where we've got a swear word in, so there's now definitely an explicit episode on the audio platform. So you
Sorry,
made
man.
my life a lot easier
Very much.
when I release it on the audio platforms in the coming days. But I guess as well, because of the fact that, WrestleMania was a huge success, and then of course the War After Mania was also a success where you got to see Pat McAfee get choked down, you get to see Rusev return as well.
Yeah.
Rightly so, with the return, hopefully maybe have Rusev Day once again. But will we ever see maybe in the future you guys doing something with WWE?
That's the dream.
Yeah.
The dream. We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago because there was a point. I can't remember when this was, but I'm pretty sure there was overlap where when we were our old band Shaded, there was a point where I think it might have just been NXT UK, but they were doing like guest themes every week.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm so annoyed we missed that, And I was like, if they ever did something like that again, just give us like some branch off, just the theme for 1 week, and our lives would be complete.
Look, if guitar music blows up again, the way that it has done in the past, maybe we could be the UK's answer to Travis Scott. Who knows? When WrestleMania comes to Wembley in London, which it probably will never.
Well, don't know. Never say never.
I don't know, man. I was talking to Callum about this when we were in Vegas. I just don't think the event itself would be able to take over the city of London the way it has done Vegas and places in the past. I feel like London is just too strict and just too busy and just too kind of I can't imagine it.
The atmosphere of it in America is just insane. Like everything, like the second you get there, there's like tailgates going on and all these mad events outside the stadium. Like it's everywhere. And yeah, I'm not sure if London.
Also, can you imagine WWE coming to London and going to Wembley and being like, this is where we're going to take over?
Yeah. Well,
the stadium aside, just bless its heart, Northwest London, Wembley. It's not the best. It's not quite the London city centre that it's potentially being sold to be.
Well, what? Maybe it might not go to London at all. Maybe it'll come up to Manchester.
Who knows? Who knows?
The rebuild of Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
There you go.
WrestleMania.
100,000 people can easily fill out that for WrestleMania or any big event for WWE. Might appear about 30 minutes from where I am.
See, that would be good. The other option is, and I hate to say it as an Arsenal fan, but the Spurs Stadium.
Of course, yeah, the Emirates, yeah, not a background, I guess, but yeah, good,
Option.
good. Or even the Tottenham Stadium, because they host a lot of American football games there, so that's another option.
I think they're probably best equipped for it, to be honest. As much as it pains me, they've even got those like bottom up beer things.
They do. Yeah.
Well, look, Paul Hunter, if you're listening, Pride Park is a really nice stadium. It's in a lovely town, a lovely city called Derby. Really pleasant city centre, loads of sights to see. You know where we are.
WrestleMania Derby.
I'll send you the
Yeah, he might have to Google. He might have to Google where Derby is, probably.
That's fine. I'll send him the location ping once a day over Instagram until he responds.
Well, of course, you got to wear a Derby shirt to put on my show, you know, because you knew you could go on a Manchester show. Of course, the home to the best football team in the world, still, by the way, Manchester United. We might be big at the moment, but history stands behind us. But yeah, you've done very brave there. At least Callum has worn something a bit more realistic for the show. Yeah,
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to say this is me doing my podcast heel turn on you, but I've got football after this, so
fair enough. Fair enough.
He wore Derby shirts to both nights of WrestleMania.
He did, and now I saw that. Yeah. Did you get a lot of people coming after you about how dare you for wearing it?
I got one guy that said Derby County, and I was like, my boy. And then there was one person on night 2. There was one person. So the first person said Derby County with like a nice, happy cadence in their voice, and then on night 2 it was Derby County, and I was just like,
what? What on earth is that?
What is a Derby County?
I wore an Arsenal shirt on night 1, and I got a lot. But they were all nice. I didn't get anyone.
Well, I remember watching the SmackDown on the first night of WrestleMania where I saw the Aston Villa / Birmingham guy.
Yeah, they're always there, aren't they?
Yeah, it's annoying. They just came out of nowhere nowadays. It's like, where's the Uniteds and where's the I guess Liverpool's as I would say, but it's like teams. This is not even that popular. I did not think that popular in America anyway. But there you go. But yeah,
those two guys and Smiles, green shirt guy. They're at every PLE. It's so funny.
The biggest night 2 was Smiles getting his own entrance.